Welcome to the view outside my windows. I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds of this, and then you're going to see my smiling face, and then I've got some interesting information for you. Yes, it is official. I am in the middle of nowhere. Alan here from RVacrossamerica.net, and this post is going to be about RV life and regenerative medicine and what it can do to extend your life on the road. This is going to be at RVacrossamerica.net/regen, R-E-G-E-N, R-E-G-E-N. So, here I am outside of Pinedale. I'm in the middle of nowhere, really. Loving it. And I wanted to reach out to you from my recent trip to Freedom Fest. I conducted several interviews. This is the first of those interviews. It's with a gentleman named Dan Montano of a company named Zhittya Genesis. And this is a company that I've become familiar with. I first learned about them in 2019, and frankly, full disclosure, I became an investor. The reason I'm sharing this with you is to bring you to the forefront of what's happening, not only with Zhittya Genesis, but with regenerative medicine in general. Because frankly, I believe it's going to be a big deal, and I believe it's going to impact our lives in a very positive way. And that's kind of good news these days. So, without any further delay, I'm going to jump right into the interview with Dan. And at the end, I invite you to join me at RVacrossamerica.net if you're not there already, /regen, R-E-G-E-N, short for regenerative medicine. Didn't want to make you have to type that all out. And there's also another video that's on that same post, along with some background information to kind of fill in the blanks from the interview. And that link will be, again, on the post. Okay? So without any further delay, here's my interview with Dan from just a few weeks ago. So we're here with Dan Montano of Zhittya Genesis. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
After 2 years, hopefully. And we first met 2 years ago here at Freedom Fest. This is Alan, by the way, from RVacrossamerica.net. The last time we met was 2 years ago. I became really quite fascinated with what Zhittya is doing. To bring our folks up to speed who maybe haven't heard or seen the first video that was produced on RV Across America, give them an overview of what Zhittya is and what's so exciting about what you're working on.
Thank you, Alan. I think, first of all, the most important thing is that half the people in the world today die from a vascular disease, which is diminished blood flow to a tissue or organ. And that includes heart disease, which kills 31% of the people, stroke, which kills 14%. And these diseases of insufficient blood flow are responsible, as I said earlier, for half the deaths. Our medicine triggers the natural biological response of growing new blood vessels. Now, when you first mention that to people, it's always so Star Trek-y, so scientific. But when you fall down and scrape your elbow and you tear off the skin and you rupture blood vessels, your body makes the identical molecule that we use in our medicine, and it triggers the growth of new blood vessels, new skin. All we do is manufacture that in our laboratory and then infuse it. And right now we've grown blood vessels in the heart. We have reversed stroke damage in animals. We've reversed Parkinson's in monkeys. We are growing blood vessels in the leg to treat peripheral artery disease. So we're making great progress since the last 2 years, in spite of COVID-19.
I was thinking that myself, that with COVID-19 there must have been quite a few disruptions. In the last 2 years, you've moved quite a bit further along in the experimental stage and in the approval stage, have you not?
Correct. I think the experimental stage is long behind us. Now we're attempting to be in the regulatory approval phase, which some people would probably call experimental. But since we have so much evidence, so we've done 4 different human trials in the heart. and our evidence is overwhelmingly positive. So now we're going through the regulatory approval process. So that is where we're pushing. Probably the biggest adjustment that's happened is we've been frustrated with the US FDA, like most companies trying to advance the medicine, with their responses and their lack of time. And we've learned from other sources, especially because of Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is one of those diseases that if people have it, they're suffering every day. It's not a case of they can wait 6 months.
My mother had it, yeah.
Yeah, every day is hell for them. And so when you start meeting Parkinson's people and you have an application at the FDA and the FDA takes 3 months to respond to a letter, you know that everybody who has Parkinson's is suffering, in my opinion, needlessly. Because if we were able to reverse it in monkeys, I believe we could reverse it in humans. And we may be wrong, but we want to find out. And so we were directed by a Dutch group to go to a hospital in Mexico, which is the leading neurology hospital in all of Mexico and Latin America. And we filed an application for Parkinson's, and we were approved in 90 days. So we're clear to start dosing to treat Parkinson's patients, and I hope 12 months from now we'll have evidence that the molecule is safe in the brain, and I hope it'll have outcome. But the interesting thing is we're going to find an answer in Mexico in 12 months or maybe 18 as compared to that's how long it's taking the FDA to answer letters.
Now the molecule does cross the blood-brain barrier?
Right. The blood-brain barrier is basically blood vessels, and in those blood vessels in the blood-brain barrier is a receptor for this molecule. So this molecule is so fundamental to your life that the blood-brain barrier actually transports it across. And so now it's not a huge percentage. So if we put in 10 trillion molecules, maybe only 500 billion cross the blood-brain barrier. But it only takes 10,000 of them on a upregulated distress cell to trigger a foci, like a seed. So from this mustard seed, we can grow huge fields of blood vessels, as you've seen in the heart.
Right.
So we're highly encouraged, and we saw it in animals, and I hate to tell people, but I'm not sure that we're that much different than a monkey when it comes to the basic physiology.
In many ways.
So we're going for it.
And the molecule, as you've pointed out, is native to the human body.
Correct. You've used it thousands of times yourself. Every time you cut yourself, every time you scrape yourself, your body makes this molecule to regenerate. The difference is when you were 10 years old and you cut yourself, there was injury, so your body made the molecule. Now when you're 75 and your arteries are becoming clogged, there is no trauma. Therefore your body doesn't make the molecule. So we make it in our laboratory, we introduce it to the area of need, and voila, we grow blood vessels and cure the problem.
So you're reintroducing something to the body could produce, but it won't produce because there's no trauma to cause it to produce it.
Correct. So people don't seem to understand that the body needs signals to know what to do.
Right.
So when this molecule was first discovered in the late 70s, it was considered the holy grail of medicine because it's the signaling molecule for the body to regenerate. Now, when we talk to people that we use it to grow blood vessels, that's a simplistic answer. Because if we told people it also triggers the body to grow new nerves, new blood vessels, new skin, new bones, it just sounds like too much. Okay, but the bottom is the body needs instructions, and so if you don't have that signaling molecule, the body doesn't react. It's like the fire alarm. Okay, if your house is on fire and you don't follow the fire alarm, the fire department doesn't come. So without that message, and that is what the FGF1 molecule is, it signals the body to come and fix something.
Now, you're part of I guess an overall arching part of medicine called regenerative medicine?
Right. It's a new area of medicine called regenerative medicine. I think it's the biggest medical breakthrough of the last 100 years. But it also is kind of ridiculous because we all do it. So regenerating ourselves is completely natural to our physical body. It's absolutely, and what happens is that, you know, I always love it when people say, oh, I went to see the doctor and he put on this Band-Aid and I'm healing. Well, you were going to heal anyway, okay? 90% of medicine that we talk about is just letting the natural body heal. Now, the biggest enemy we had was bacteria, which now we have in abeyance. But this is just the natural regenerative process of your body. Now we're extended to diseases of aging.
And that allows you, I saw you up on stage the other day, to make the bold statement that at the age of 73, you expect to have a solid close to another 60 years to live based on the kind of regeneration that this molecule, it's called FGF1, is it?
FGF1. But Alan, you have to understand something. I'm a very cautious and conservative person. When I made the prediction I'm living to 130, that was my low-end number.
Okay.
So keep something in mind. Yesterday we showed endothelial cell dysfunction. Endothelial cell dysfunction, I'm starting to believe, may be the fundamental cause of 90% of the diseases that affect our body. It may be the cause of aging. And it may be something that is so simplistic that nobody thinks about it. Now, doctors know about it. You know, they know about gut leakage, they know about kidney leakage, everybody knows about it. But since there's nothing they can do, they don't talk about it. So what we've discovered, because my wife is an expert on multiple sclerosis, and multiple sclerosis, the latest theory is it's not an autoimmune disease, it's a vascular leakage disease.
Okay.
In her work, we did some testing and we found out our molecule can reverse endothelial cell dysfunction in 30 days. So let me give people an example of something. If a woman is diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, in most of the world, what do the doctors tell her to do to put her multiple sclerosis in remission?
I don't know.
Get pregnant.
Really?
If a woman has multiple sclerosis and she gets pregnant, her body is making this growth factor to grow new blood vessels for the fetus and the pancreas. Her body is awash with this growth factor, and while it's busy developing the angiogenesis for the baby, it's healing all of her endothelial cell dysfunction, which has caused her multiple sclerosis. And it is an amazing phenomenon. And rheumatoid arthritis. If a woman has rheumatoid arthritis, and they're 75, 80%, that's a leaky blood vessel tree. But if a woman gets pregnant, her body generates growth factors, and it heals the rheumatoid arthritis. So let me ask a question. Why is it my body doesn't regenerate as I get older? Why is it the brain shrinks, as you see in the Alzheimer's picture? You go to a neurologist and say, hey, how come when you get older your brain shrinks? You know what most neurologists tell you? Because you're getting older. Now, obviously, they didn't get a degree in physics from MIT for that answer.
Right.
But here is what is obvious. Here is a blood vessel made up of millions of cells, endothelial cells. If those endothelial cells start to separate, start to leak, things are getting out that shouldn't. But equally important, blood is not going down the channel, and the very last one at the end of the line is getting less food, less oxygen, less waste removal, and guess what? It becomes dysfunctional. No surprise. I mean, look at me. I'm a healthy guy as far as I know. Cut me down to 500 calories a day, give me 1 cup of water a day, and don't let me go to the bathroom for 2 months. And I'm not going to work hard, people. That's just all there is to it.
Right.
So as your body is endothelial cell dysfunction, is it the cause of aging and the death for 80% of the people? We're going to know soon. And I believe if that's the case, and we can reinvigorate that. Now, I can never get pregnant, and I don't know any guys that can. But if we can do the same process and extend the regeneration of our endothelial cells, I'm all for it. Okay?
powerful stuff.
I hope so, Alan. And I want to thank you for being with us on this voyage. Okay?
Thank you. So you're here at Freedom Fest to, of course, spread the word.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other goals that you have by being here?
Well, we're getting ready to do a public offering, a public stock offering, initial IPO. And of course, it always helps to get the word out. And of course, the best shareholders are ones who believe in what you're doing.
Of course.
And so we're out trying to find and kiss the true believers. I think you know me well enough. And you get our monthly updates, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Our monthly updates are now going to over 100,000 people.
Wow.
And we are reaching out, and Dr. Jacobs, my partner, tomorrow he's giving a webinar, Zoom webinar presentation to the International Neurology Society. The last one he did, he had 7,500 people, doctors. And we're out spreading the word everywhere we can. And I believe that this is a medical breakthrough, and I believe it's going to change the world as we know it.
And that's why people should really care, because this is directly affecting, realistically, the majority of Americans, which, as you pointed out, are going to pass away from one of these degenerative diseases, degenerative conditions, and regenerative medicine can be the answer.
Alan, I hate to correct you. They won't pass away if we succeed. Pay attention to Alan, okay?
Absolutely.
You and I have a meeting 50 years from now here.
Count on it.
All right, my friend.
Count on it. If people want to learn more, you're of course on the internet. I'll put a link in on the post that I make here. And you have a complete set of YouTube videos that address these different conditions?
Right. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you look up Zhicha Genesis, we have a YouTube channel with 12 different presentations. And each of those presentations is on for heart disease or Parkinson's or stroke recovery. They're all there. And you're welcome to see them, and we try to refresh them. But also as an example, and this is going to sound really strange, Dr. Jacobs gave a presentation about 3 weeks ago with the Saudi German hospital chain in Saudi Arabia on critical leg ischemia. And Jack did a phenomenal presentation. I thought it was brilliant, but that was not the best part of the seminar. When it went down and the doctors started talking, the vascular doctors started talking about what this means, the ability to grow blood vessels, they were bringing up diseases that Jack and I have never heard of, that are rampant in the Arab world. I don't know what desert foot is. And they went on, and I think we got something here, my friend. Okay?
And as people watch the videos, if they're interested, you are still accepting investors at this point?
Listen. The great thing about biotech is you spend money until your drug's approved. And then you make so much money, you have to give it back to the shareholders in dividends because there's no use for the money that rains. In our treatment for heart disease, which is the biggest cause of death in the world, 17 million people died last year of heart disease. I get angry when I hear people go, oh, COVID-19 is the worst thing that happened. 10 times more people died from heart disease and cancer last year than all of COVID-19. And that was COVID-19 claiming everybody who died even in car accidents. The point is, these fundamental diseases we can address. And I believe that we have a big future ahead, and I believe the profits would shock you.
So if people are interested, you even make yourself available.
I'm available, but they can contact you first, Alan. You can set up the call.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you, partner.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Bless you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you as always, my friend.
All right, sir.
Thank you.